Working man bodybuilding rep ranges. This might be the most overrated thing to talk about, but it always comes up. What rep range should I lift in? Well, if you looked on YouTube, if you looked on Google or Reddit or what have you, it's pretty much agreed upon the board that between 5 to 30 reps, even plus, can build muscle. So if we're doing this strictly from a hypertrophy, muscle building, aesthetic standpoint, you can build muscle from 5 reps to 30 reps. Now, the thing that people don't take into consideration is the rep speed. You can do a repetition fast. One up, one down, don't fight the negative, none of that. No, very little control and stuff compared to somebody that's doing a very slow negative, a semi-explosive concentric, a hold. I mean, their rep is going to last twice as long, if not more, than the person doing just up and down type stuff. So it's kind of subjective and relevant relative to the person doing how they're doing their reps. That might be another video in itself, is rep speed. People have covered this. Since I am very much a low volume, high intensity type guy, especially from my progress and the years I've been training, and I always go back to it, the more volume I do, the more it hurts my joints. I feel like I'm holding back. I can't progress on a consistent basis. And it's just, there's very little pros to it, in my opinion. Nonetheless, your rep range needs to be catered to what type of exercise you're doing. If you're doing heavy compound exercises, heavy meaning like pull-up, weighted pull-ups or pull-ups, dips, press of some sort, a row, then you can go to about 5. You can go to 15. Any more than that, you'll get kind of bored and you're getting more of a cardiac effect. You're going to be more having a cardiac failure type impact on that exercise compared to the muscular effect on it. You ain't gonna hit. You're gonna want to hit cardiac failure before you have muscular failure because you're just gasping for air. So I try to stay in a lower rep range. I do since my rep speed is very slow. One repetition might last 5 or 6 seconds. I tend to go into the 5 to 8, 6 to 9, maybe even 10 rep range. Any more than that, I start gasping myself because I'm getting so close to failure, and sometimes beyond, especially on machines, and I'm locking in. So my set of 5 to 8, 6 to 10, or 6 to 9, somewhere around there, is going to be somebody's 8 to 12 most of the time. These are all multi-joint compound exercises. We incorporate multiple muscle groups, that type of thing. Legs, I tend to go a little bit higher rep on. I'm trying to maintain my legs, so the most I really go is 20. I rarely do that, and that's on like a leg press, maybe a squat of some sort. I don't squat anymore because of my lower back and other issues too, but I do leg press. Even an occasional hack squat, if I find one doesn't hurt my knees. 20 reps can really blow them up. If that 20th rep is like you had to breathe really hard on that 18th, 19th, or 20th before you took another descent and came back up. But if you stay within the 10 to 15 rep range on legs, even 8 on those compounds, you'll be fine. You long as you're progressing, but you got to be careful and get your knee pain. The isolation work, I go a little bit higher on. The lowest, 8 to 12. I've done 6s, but it would have to be something like biceps and triceps. But then you start getting elbow pain when you get really heavy. If your negatives aren't slow enough and all that stuff, it's not slow and controlled. Like I said, it depends on how the rep's done to really pick the rep range. I can go lower reps because my reps are so long. Again, that's why I do it. So my 8 to 12 might be somebody's 10 to 15 on a bicep curl or a forearm curl, something like that. On lateral raises, dumbbell lateral raises, I've been up to 30 because I've got a little bit of lateral epicondylitis in my elbow. around that tendon anyway. So I will go, so I don't have to go so heavy in weight. I'll go up to 30, but I'm hitting failure. Sometimes a few partials up to that point. I might go just above parallel. Just below parallel. Then might try another one, get about right there, and then I might stop. I'll probably hit one or two partials after that, just to make sure that I did hit failure, and I got everything I could out of that set. But I do usually do 1 or 2 sets, because it being the resistance curve. The resistance curve on like a lateral raise is it's all at the top, not at the bottom, or very little at the bottom. So you really might just hit, you don't really hit failure. You just might hit that range of motion being its peak up here, but you still got a lot of room to go down here on the lateral raise. That's why I'll squeeze an extra 1 or 2 and even do a second set for that reason. And being they recover so quickly, I can do them both workouts. Similar to rear delts, it's such a small muscle. I stay within 8 to 12, maybe 10 to 15. I don't really go much above that. Like I said, unless it's like lateral raises or maybe even forearm work. I've had some forearm pain, like I said. I might go to 20 reps. Other than that, I might just stay 10 to 15 and just be done with it. But my 10 to 15 will be somebody's 12 to 20. So it's all relative on the exercise you use. Now, if you want to lift for strength, it's not something this channel is catered to, but if you want to be strong on the bench, the squat, and the deadlift, you could do 1 to 5 reps. It's got to be clean reps, but the lower reps you go, this is the thing, especially if you're not warmed up good. It takes so much longer to warm up to it, but it's going to be such a high stimulus to fatigue ratio. But number 2, it's a higher chance of injury on those lower reps, especially on like a free weight exercise where you're sitting here shaking, especially to control the negative to the descent and then exploding up. On a bench press or even out of the hole in a squat, you really can hurt yourself. Like I said, this ain't the strength-based channel, or I'm talking about just, you're going to get stronger if you're chasing progress, you're getting close to failure, even to failure, and you're giving yourself, this is the key, giving yourself enough time in between to recover, not only recover, but again, super compensate so you can grow. The super compensation is where you grow. That's where the next workout you can add another rep or 2, or you've already went up in weight, whatever it may be, so you can keep doing that. But also too, it makes it where the higher reps you go, the less chance your soft tissue, your joints don't bother you as much. It's less systemic fatigue too. A set of 8 to failure is going to be a lot harder on your recovery than 15 reps to failure, because you're using more weight. And it's going to take more out of you to control all that. But also too, you have a chance of using lower reps to be able to concentrate more. If you're doing a heavy set of 8, say if you're doing bicep curl, and you're doing a set of 8, and it looks good, good, clean, slow, negative, control the weight the whole time. That set of 8 you can concentrate on a lot easier compared to doing 15, 20 reps. Because it takes so long to get the effective reps. You might do if you're doing 15 to 20 reps, the first 10 to 15 is like, it's hard. It's getting worse progressively, but it's kind of just in the back of your head until you start hitting those effective reps where you're starting to breathe continuously and be able to stay tight, keep your form tight. It's better to do lower reps earlier on. And then once you get that form locked in, go up to higher rep ranges. If you can tolerate the recovery, the cardio effect of it, and you hit muscle failure before you hit cardio failure. That's the hard part. And being able to lock yourself in and not get hurt or injured. That's my recommendation. Take that into consideration as you see fit. I think with time, like I said, the older you get, the more you can go up into higher rep ranges, but it's good to start off a little bit lower. Say if you're doing compounds, 5 to 8 reps. Isolations, 8 to 12 reps. And then over time, go from 5 to 8, 6 to 9, or 6 to 10, maybe even 8 to 12 if you want to, depending on the compound exercise. And then on the isolation work, go to 10 to 15, up to 12 to 20 up to 30 if you really feel, especially if you've hit a plateau or you just get bored or injuries bother you, because the more higher reps, again, it's easier on your joints. But you do have to, the more higher rep range you go, the closer you need to train to failure, if not to failure, even beyond, to make sure you got the growth effect. Because the lack of intensity to your 1 rep max type of intensity, but also the exertion intensity is very important. So you have to get the most out of that smaller weight. So the higher the rep range, the lower the weight, the more exertion. The lower the rep range, the higher the exertion, the harder it's going to be on your body. Track it, beat your last workout, recover, super compensate, do it all over again. Let me know what y'all think.